Tannoy, one of the oldest and most respected audio brands in the world, dating back to 1926. The company was founded by engineer and inventor Guy Raymond Fountain, a man with business acumen, a passion for radio electronics and a keen engineering mind. Born in Britain at the very beginning of the 20th century, he began his career with experiments in radio power supply. By 1923, Fountain had already patented his own tantalum rectifier, which allowed him to move from bulky batteries to more compact and stable current sources. It was this development that launched the future company. In the decades that followed, Fountain personally oversaw all of the company's key technical areas, including the development of the revolutionary dual concentric coaxial driver in 1947, which under his supervision became the basis for the entire future Tannoy philosophy. Tannoy was founded in London under the original name of Tulsmere Manufacturing Company, initially manufacturing rectifiers and chargers for radio receivers. By the late 1920s, the name was changed to the short and sonorous Tannoy, derived from the combination of the words tantalum and alloy, the materials used in one of the company's first inventions. Under the new name, the company began manufacturing loudspeakers and quickly established itself as an innovator in the field of sound equipment. In the 1930s, the Tannoy brand gained a reputation as one of the most progressive developers of audio systems. The company's speakers were installed in a variety of settings, from cars to concert venues. Gradually, the name Tannoy became associated with reliable sound and quality telecommunications, which was particularly evident during the war years. During the Second World War, the company supplied public announcement systems for the British Armed Forces. Tannoy loudspeakers were heard on military airfields, factories, and even in palaces. In 1945, the end of the war was announced through the Tannoy system at Buckingham Palace. Thanks to this widespread publicity, the name Tannoy became synonymous with loudspeaker systems. It was even added to the Oxford English Dictionary in 1946 to mean public address system. After the war, Tannoy systems continued to serve the peaceful life. They were installed in factories, broadcasting BBC programs like Music While You Work to workers, and in Butlins and Pontins holiday camps, where the cheerful phrase "Good morning, campers" was heard in the mornings. The traditional greeting spread through the Tannoy throughout the camp. This widespread distribution of the company's systems and the people's love emphasized the brand's credibility. Tannoy thus made history, and its logo on loudspeaker grills became a symbol of quality sound for the people. In the post-war years, Tannoy channeled its engineering talent into the development of hi-fi. The company's efforts culminated in 1947 with the invention of the revolutionary dual concentric loudspeaker. At the London radio show that year, the company introduced a two-way coaxial driver in which a high-frequency compression driver was placed in the center of a 15-inch low-frequency cone. The cone of the woofer served as a horn for the tweeter, providing a single-point source of sound with a wide sound radiation pattern and improved phase coherence between waves of different frequencies. This technology set a new direction in acoustics and became Tannoy's trademark for decades to come, shaping the entire loudspeaker industry. At one time, the dual concentric coaxial driver was considered so accurate that it was used as a calibration tool for microphone testing. In the late 1940s and early 1950s, Tannoy began to introduce dual concentric into its domestic and professional loudspeakers, gradually improving the design. A series of monitors appeared, called Monitor Black, Monitor Silver, and later Monitor Red, each new version improving on the previous one, increasing the power, clarity, and detail of the sound. These early Tannoy coaxial drivers are now legendary and coveted objects for collectors of retro equipment. One of the first loudspeakers to fully realize the benefits of dual concentric was the GRF Autograph, released in 1954. This horn-type floor-standing loudspeaker, designed under the direction of Guy Fountain, combined a 15-inch coaxial driver with a carefully calculated corner horn cabinet. The Autograph was astonishing in its size and capabilities. It was designed to be installed in the corner of a room, where a wooden resonator cabinet amplified the bass, filling large rooms with sound. The Autograph demonstrated that dual concentric was not just for public address systems, but also for high-end home audio, setting new standards for post-war hi-fi. It was on these principles that Tannoy built further iconic designs. By the 1960s, Tannoy had fully established itself in the realm of high-end audio. The peak of the evolution of the classic coaxial driver range was the famous Gold Monitor series, introduced in 1967. The series was the result of a major revision of the dual concentric design. The magnetic systems and comb materials were improved, resulting in even smoother response and higher reliability with increased power handling. The golden monitors quickly became recognized by both home and professional enthusiasts. Their balanced, accurate sound made gold a benchmark. Soon these loudspeakers began to appear in major recording studios around the world. The real triumph of the gold monitors was when the legendary Abbey Road Studios in London chose them as their main monitors. In 1973, the sound engineers used them to mix Pink Floyd's The Dark Side of the Moon, one of the most famous recordings in rock history. The fact that such a significant album was produced using Tannoy sound has forever written Monitor gold into the history of professional audio. From that moment on, the Tannoy name became an integral part of studio culture. Many mastering and recording directors of the time believed that if a mix sounded good on a Tannoy, it would sound good anywhere. Building on the success of Monitor Gold, the company continued to develop new models based on its signature dual concentric. In the 1970s, Tannoy launched the HPD, High Performance Dual, Driver series, where it introduced new technical solutions. In particular, by the end of the decade, the high-end models began using modern ferrite magnets with anisotropic properties instead of traditional Alnico alloy magnets. In 1978, this new approach became the basis for the next generation of high sound pressure acoustics without additional distortion. In 1974, the Tannoy founder Guy Fountain retired and sold the company to Harman International, marking the end of the first chapter of Tannoy's history. Production soon left London. In 1976, the Tannoy factory moved to Coatbridge in Scotland. Despite the change of ownership and location, the tradition of quality and hand-built craftsmanship remained. The Scottish phase gave a new impulse to development. It was there that the next legendary models of the brand were born. In 1979, having realized the requirements of the new era of recording, the company introduced the Super Red monitor range. These studio monitors, which replaced the gold monitors, featured upgraded coaxial drivers and crossovers. The Super Red monitors were characterized by even greater accuracy and dynamic range, instantly receiving high praise from critics and sound designers. By the early 1980s, Tannoy monitors had firmly established themselves as one of the world standards for studio monitoring and could be found in countless famous studios, from London to New York. As well as mid-sized monitors, Tannoy experimented with larger systems. In 1980, the company released a massive studio monitor called the Dreadnought, designed for the most demanding applications. These huge speakers had a colossal power reserve and impressive bass. It was a pair of Dreadnought speakers that helped composer Vangelis create the soundtrack to the famous 1982 movie Blade Runner, demonstrating that Tannoy could meet the demands of even the most demanding professionals. During the 1980s, Tannoy continued to consolidate its position in both professional and home audio. In 1987, a reorganization took place. Tannoy merged with the British company Goodmans to form Tannoy Goodmans International. This merger allowed the company to expand its research base and distribution without compromising its commitment to the signature sound. At the same time, Tannoy engineers worked to ensure that the classic dual concentric ideas remained relevant in a changing world of technology. In 1982, the company took a big step towards audiophiles with the launch of the Prestige range of high-end home speakers. The Prestige range embodied the nostalgia of the golden age of hi-fi by bringing back the large vintage-style wooden cabinets that house the latest versions of Tannoy's coaxial drivers. Prestige models, such as the Westminster, Canterbury, Turnberry, and others, were reminiscent of the 1960s classics, but fitted with the most advanced components of the day. For example, in the 1990s, dual concentric drivers featured the proprietary Tulip waveguide, which improved treble dispersion and soundstage fidelity. Prestige quickly became a favorite among analog sound enthusiasts. Hand-built from the finest woods, These speakers showed that Tannoy valued its heritage and was able to present it in a modern way. At the same time, Tannoy did not miss the professional segment. In the 1990s, with the development of commercial audio, the company pioneered high-performance in-wall and in-ceiling loudspeakers. Tannoy solutions for public spaces, shops, offices, studios were characterized by the same reliability and sound quality as the legendary monitors. The brand was actively involved in installation sound, offering complete audio systems for businesses, hotels, and concert halls. Thus, by the end of the millennium, Tannoy was successfully working in two directions, keeping true to audiophile traditions through the Prestige series, while at the same time exploring new markets for professional and commercial sound. In the 2000s, the Tannoy brand tried to continue to evolve in the context of the globalization of the audio industry. In 2002, the company became part of the Danish professional concern TC Group, which strengthened its position in the international pro-audio market. Under the wing of a large holding company, Tannoy was able to invest in research and development. During these years, new models of studio monitors appeared, for example, the popular Reveal series for studios, and improved the legendary Prestige for the home. Tannoy engineers worked tirelessly to refine the Dual Concentric driver, introducing new materials for cones, suspensions, and magnet systems. In those years, a modernized version with a rigid ribbed suspension and a double-layer fabric edge was introduced, improving the control of cone movement. This system became the basis for almost all of the brand's loudspeakers produced since the early noughties. Tannoy's efforts to preserve its heritage and philosophy have been strong and not in vain, but the digital age, with its mobile gadgets and compact speakers from super popular brands, has taken its toll. Tannoy's image in the audio world has begun to decline. And so did the demand for the company's speakers. Nevertheless, audiophiles did not and still do not refuse the company's premium products. In 2015, Tannoy underwent another change in the structure of the company. Tannoy became part of the International Association Music Tribe, a giant corporation that owns such famous brands as Behringer, Midas, Turbosound, and more. As it is easy to guess, this turn of events was perceived by music lovers and audiophiles extremely negatively. When Tannoy became part of Behringer, many people said goodbye to the great brand, but fortunately the company was not forgotten. The new owners brought large investments, but also initiated controversial decisions. In 2016, information emerged about plans to move Tannoy's production from Scotland to China and to close the Coatbridge factory, moving assembly to another site. For a brand with almost a century of history that prides itself on British manufacturing, this of course came as a shock. There was a wave of concern in the industry, with the departure of key specialists, protests from the audio community, and even the intervention of famous musicians who cared about the fate of the legendary brand. Fortunately, a dramatic turnaround was avoided. In the same year, 2016, Music Tribe's management revised its plans and officially announced that the production of Tannoy top-of-the-range speakers would remain in Scotland. Moreover, it was decided to invest in the construction of a new modern facility in the country of the brand's homeland. In the following years, Tannoy not only retained the Scottish factory, but also expanded its activities. According to the company's representatives, it was in Coatbridge that they expanded not only the production of Prestige systems, but also launched the full development of the new Legacy Retro range. Thus, the historical quality of hand-built systems has been preserved and even multiplied under the management of an international concern. One of the achievements of the late 2010s was the introduction of the aforementioned Tannoy Legacy series, which included modern reissues of classic 1970s models. These speakers, for example, the updated Arden, Cheviot, and Eaton, looked almost identical to their vintage forefathers, but inside hid the latest components and refined crossovers. Engineers have tried to reproduce the same character of the old Tannoy sound, enhancing it with modern technology. Approaching its centenary, Tannoy is still a symbol of audio heritage and engineering. Nearly a century on from the company's founding, its core principles remain: the pursuit of accurate, natural sound and bold technical solutions. The proprietary dual concentric concept continues to underpin Tannoy's flagship products, from the vintage elegant Prestige series to modern studio monitors. What's more, the technology has been further developed, with some models adding supertweeter ultra-high frequency drivers that extend the reproduction range into the ultrasonic range to create an even more spacious and lifelike soundscape. Such technical steps show that Tannoy is not resting on its laurels, but continues to contribute to the development of acoustics. To sum up, it is worth emphasizing that the history of Tannoy is a story of how the company has always been at the epicenter of the most important events in the world of sound. The brand has had an undeniable impact on professional sound. Generations of sound engineers have entrusted their music to Tannoy monitors, and Grammy Award winners have recorded world-renowned albums with them. At the same time, the Tannoy brand name still evokes great awe among audiophiles, as classic models are fondly remembered and continue to be listened to by home audiophiles enjoying the right sound. As of 2025, the Tannoy brand is still part of Music Tribe, an international holding company with main centers and headquarters in Malaysia and the Philippines. Music Tribe owns several major audio manufacturers, including Behringer, Midas, Clark Technic, Turbosound, TC Electronic and others. Despite its global scale, the company actively develops separate families of brands, allowing them to retain their unique character and production traditions. Tannoy's flagship Prestige and Legacy loudspeakers continue to be handmade at its facility in Coatbridge, near Glasgow, Scotland. In other words, today Tannoy is, no matter what anyone says, still a legend in the world of sound, and a living one at that. Even in this era of wireless speakers and multi-channel soundbars, the brand still sets the standard in high-end audio, and strives to remain true to its famous motto, the original sound. Well, the story of Tannoy has come to an end. Or rather, the video about the history of the company has come to an end. And the company itself, we want to believe, will live happily ever after. To everyone who watched till the end, thank you very much. You are welcome to like, subscribe and comment. Thank you again, until the next video.